Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Motion Lister podcast. I hope you're all having a good day. Just a quick disclaimer before the episode starts. We did suffer with a few technical issues again due to our connection and a few latency errors, but what can you do? We're in lockdown, so we're making do with what we've got. But without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Motion Listener podcast. My name's Zach. I'm joined always by my co-host Elliot.
Hello. Today we've got the Doctor, what we're going to call the Doctor Whoniverse.
The Whoniverse, yeah.
The Whoniverse, yeah. So we're just going to have a bit of a discussion, go through some of our favourites, some of our least favourite things. We're going to play a little game of Would You Rather, and then we're going to talk about who we want to play the next Doctor.
We're going to basically talk about everything you could possibly talk about. Well, everything we think we could possibly talk about to do with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we're going to talk about some possible replacements.
Yeah, I think we best starting with a disclaimer. I know this is a disclaimer for me, but I stopped watching after Peter Capaldi. I think I started watching Jodie Whittaker. I wasn't a fan. And I think that's quite a similar theme through for a lot of Doctor Who diehard fans, is that we got to the end of Peter Capaldi and we started watching the next Doctor and we were like, this just isn't the same. And we'll talk about this more as we go into it, but I don't know whether it's because I grew up or Doctor Who got shit.
I've stuck through it and I don't know why. Yeah. Because the way the show's going, it's on a bit of a downfall, but we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that a bit later. But basically, we've done a list of different things we want to talk about. And first off, starting on that list is who's our favourite Doctor. So, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So, I was a little bit torn doing this, and I've ended up picking the Ninth Doctor, which was sort of the one that kind of rebooted Doctor Who, and especially for me when I was young, and it kind of got me into it, and I think that's why he's my favourite Doctor. His character was played really well. He had some of my favourite episodes in there. I think they were really good, and I think the build-up of Rose's character arc was amazing. Yeah. So, but I still think David Tennant as the 10th Doctor was a very close second. I just personally, for me, I think I enjoyed the 9th Doctor more, and I wish it had done more than one season, which is a bit of a shame. But
for me, it's always going to be David Tennant unless someone comes around and changes my mind. But right now, it's always been David Tennant. Yeah. I think just the way he's played the character, the way he filled the shoes after Christopher Eccleston, like he made the character his own.
Yeah.
And he was able to carry like comedy and humour, but also like the serious tones that we'd have in some episodes.
Yeah, I think that's quite an important thing in Doctor Who, is that they've got to have the two sides. They've got to be like you said, they've got to be able to do the comedy and the humour, but as well, like when they have those serious scenes, the kind of look down the camera and speak, they've got to be able to really do that.
The big speech scenes.
Almost in power but yeah, I agree. As I say, 10th Doctor was a very close second. It's just I think the 9th Doctor was what really made me want to watch Doctor Who and carry on watching Doctor Who.
Yeah,
and the 10th kind of secured that.
I think the 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, he set the tone for that universe.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
The Doctor Who that me and you have watched, we haven't watched any classic Who, but this was like the revival of the show.
Yeah.
With Christopher Eccleston, and he set the tone for that revival.
Essentially, this is the Doctor Who, the Whoniverse that we grew up with. So 9th, 10th, 11th.
The best part of it, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So next we've got our favourite companions. So do you want to start us on this one?
If I was to go through all the companions and I was to tier list them, number one for me would be Captain Jack Harkness.
Okay, yeah.
And hands down. Like, he's the most entertaining on screen. He's the funniest. He can do the serious parts really well as well. Like if he wasn't Captain Jack, he'd be the Doctor.
Which
You
is
know
a
what I
shame,
mean?
isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Because he plays such a good role, then you'd have liked to have seen him play the Doctor as well. But like you say, because he's a companion now, there's never any chance that he'd be able to do that. For me, it's Rose. Again, I think it's because of she's just got a really good story arc. I love the whole Bad Wolf thing, and I think it's
Yeah.
when I was a bit younger, it was like the one I had a crush on the most, I think. And I think that's kind of what, again, secured her as my favourite companion. And again, like you said, they need to be able to do the comedy and the serious. And I think her interactions with the Ninth Doctor and the 10th Doctor were really good. And I think that's why she's my favourite.
I think it's the love story as well
Yeah.
that really added to them too.
Yeah.
And it basically carried on over 4 seasons as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think as well with Rose, you've got like Mickey and Jackie Tyler, and like I think I enjoyed the whole family and how Jackie was, like the interactions between Jackie and Mickey and the Doctor and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I did
Yeah.
like Martha as well, to be honest.
Mate.
She's one of my favourites. Like, she had, like, again, the same, she had a lot of shoes to fill after Rose. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like she was a replacement for Rose. She
kind of took it
she
down a
was
different
there.
path.
Yeah. And she's pretty much the only companion to say no to the Doctor.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, do you want to carry on coming with me then?" And she's like,
No.
"No, I'm gonna stay here."
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, because usually they end up getting their memory wiped, or they get
Something
sent
bad
to a parallel
happens.
universe, or something happens between the Doctor and their companion that stops them ever travelling again.
Yeah.
Or he just ditches you, like he did to Captain Jack. He just ditches you.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Okay. So next thing that we've got on the list are favourite enemies. I'll start with this one. I've got a couple, and it seems to be that my favourite enemies are the enemies that scared me the most. So I really like the Weeping Angels, and I really like the gas mask creatures.
Oh, the from
in
Empty Child.
Yeah.
I don't think he really, the creature or whatever it was really had a name. I think it was just the Empty Child monster,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I just kind of wrote gas mask creature.
Yeah. They were good though. They were really good. The Silence as well.
Yes, yeah. Again, that's another one that would be deemed as quite scary. So it seems like the ones that are the scariest seem to be the best.
It's not necessarily the looks of them for me. It's what they are.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So like the Weeping Angels, they move when you're not looking at them, or if you blink. I think that's a very scary premise for like a monster in a movie.
You have to always be like concentrated on them unless they're until
And the Silence as well. If you look away from them, you forget about them instantly. Again, another really scary premise, because you can literally have that point to real world then, because you're like, why if there's some creature like the Silence living with us?
Essentially,
but obviously we don't know, because every time we look away we forget it's there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, is it crazy premise?
Yeah. And I also wrote down the Master, but specifically John Sims' Master.
Okay.
So not Missy or the new one we've got at the minute, specifically John Sims' Master.
Yeah, I agree.
just think he plays like an alternate version to David Tennant's Doctor so well, and like them characters against each other, like it works perfectly on screen, and he just plays crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's meant to be this kind of troubled person, and it's almost like you forget that he's acting, and he actually plays it really well, and he plays it off really well. So yeah, I agree. He's one that I missed off the list, to be fair, but that actually goes on into the next question, which is like our favourite episode. Now, I really like I think it was a 3-parter on the Utopia, then the Toclafane, the whole Master series for David Tennant, where they're aged in.
Yeah.
That was one of my favourite episodes. It says favourite episode, but I class them all as kind of one together.
Yeah.
When you first watch that, like I remember first watching Utopia and getting to the end and being genuinely shook that he was the master,
Yeah,
and then it was like, what's going on? So, and then I think it was really well written, considering like the Toclophane were actually those people that got sent up on a rocket, and it all
and
pieced
that's
together
why
really
he
nicely.
needed to turn the TARDIS into a paradox machine so that they could be
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that played out really nicely for me, and I think it kind of was like, oh no, all hope's lost, and then
yeah.
and
And you
it
find
also
out the
kind of
Prime Minister, Harold Saxon, throughout all the episodes, like where it's been
exactly, yeah,
in the
yeah.
background, Vote Saxon. And there was a Vote Saxon poster in one of the Torchwood episodes as well.
There's
And
been like
so all
Easter
this
eggs
time, that's
dished
been the
about.
Master.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And like that, I think that's what I liked about it. It all pieced together really nicely, and it also started like the whole. It kind of spinned off the character arc for Martha and Unit, and the whole she's on like a mission to do stuff, and I think I like that. So
yeah.
yeah, I think that is one of my favourite episodes.
For me, I've got quite a few.
Okay.
Same as you, there's like a group of episodes which I like, which are all connected, like three parters, etc. It would
Yeah.
be like Journey's End, and like it was like the Avengers Endgame of Doctor Who in the sense, wasn't it? We
Yeah,
had
yeah.
all the companions and characters come together. You had them come from spin-off shows, so you had the Torchwood characters coming in and the Sarah Jane
Yeah,
Adventure
yeah.
characters coming in. Like I remember buzzing so much when I was younger watching that episode, and it'll always
Yeah.
be like one of my all-time favorites, and I can always go back to and watch it and know
That's
that I'll enjoy it.
exactly it. And as I was saying, like those companions from that era, I don't think I could have faulted any of them. So when they all come
Yeah,
together, it's like that reunion that everybody asked for and finally got.
yeah. Like
So
literally, all your favourites in that, or your favourite companions in that era are pretty much all the companions you've seen.
exactly, yeah,
So,
yeah,
and one of my other favourite ones is Midnight.
yes. On the
This can even go back to favourite villain as well. You know, where she just starts repeating and stealing his words,
yeah,
and like, it's not necessarily the monster in that one. It's showcasing the human behaviour if in that situation,
yeah.
which I
You've got
like the
like a lot
most.
of
I think that,
different people
yeah,
and different opinions and the
I think.
selfishness or the selflessness and
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the most scary part of that episode, and that's what makes it so good.
When you're like a little bit younger and you watch that episode, you don't really understand the background of it
Yeah,
until a bit older, and then you start to appreciate that a lot of the episodes have got like an underlying theme behind them. And I
yeah,
think that's
and
really good because then I think that way they appeal to both kids and to adults because the adults watching it can understand what's going on in the background, whereas the kids just see it as a normal episode and can still watch the
yeah,
episode and enjoy it.
I love at the end as well. You can see from David Tennant's performance that like he questions why he protects these humans if
Yeah,
they're gonna be like that.
yeah,
Which it's such a brain twister of an episode, and that's why I like it.
yeah. I agree. Yeah,
Waters on Mars as well.
yes, with the little
Yeah,
robot. What's it called now?
yeah. Gadget.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
again another favourite. It's like a big character development episode as well as it being a really good story
yeah,
where David Tennant's Doctor he's getting a bit ruthless with his power being the only Time Lord in the world. He thinks he can just do what he wants, change time, etc.
yeah,
And what they call it in the show like the Time Lord victorious sort of thing.
yeah,
And it shows the consequences he makes when he does something like that, because it's
yeah,
quite dark. It's quite a dark episode because he changes time and reality to save this one person who was meant to die for her granddaughter to become this figure, and obviously without her death he just presumes that the granddaughter will still become this figure, but because that woman knows it now, she just ends up shooting herself when she gets home.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
really dark for a Doctor Who
yeah,
episode.
yeah, it is. But again, though,
And
it's those episodes that have got like a background that are not just this is what we're doing. And like you
It's
said,
really well written stories that work well within the Doctor Who arc. Like
yeah,
Waters of Mars is a perfect one.
yeah,
It's an episode that takes place on Mars and the waters are evil that they find on it, but it's
yeah,
also
yeah,
playing well along with the Doctor's character arc,
yeah.
where he's becoming mad with his power as the last Time Lord and that.
And it's kind of like him learning lessons, and that he shouldn't have done this or shouldn't have done that. Like
Yeah,
what's meant to be
exactly.
should be. Yeah,
And it leads him straight into like my other favorite episodes, which is the end of time, David
yeah,
Tennant's last ever
yeah,
episode. I think his relationship with Wilf in that episode is really nice to see. But the thing that I like about it is, even though David Tennant's a young face, he's a young actor playing the Doctor, it's two soldiers who have been in war
yeah,
and they have that conversation together on the spaceship.
yeah.
I think that's a very, very nice scene for
And I
them to
think
have.
that end scene, well, it's not it's towards the end where Wilf is knocking on the glass 3 times, and the fact that
Yeah,
that's been the whole story arc going through the whole series, and he's
yeah,
always thought, oh, it'll be the Master, or it'll be. He's kind of conflicted in who it's going to be, and it ends up being the person that essentially that everybody least expected, and it's
yeah.
that whole acting from there where he's basically kind of
Who'd have thought, like,
angry.
4 beats, though? Like, the reason why we thought he'd be the Master, because obviously he's got that 4 beat thing, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
And who'd have thought, like, that could sound so menacing, just,
Yeah, yeah.
like...
I think that as well, like the music plays a big part into it for me, because it's like, but yeah, it is crazy just to think just like a tap on something, or be,
Yeah.
like you say, menacing such as that.
And moving on to another one of my big time favourites, you'll probably agree, Day of the Doctor, 50th anniversary.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I don't think you can go wrong.
No, like
Picking
you
that
got
one
Matt
as a
Smith
favourite.
and David Tennant on screen together. The
Yeah.
one thing I'd pick out on it is I'd like to see certain other characters come back for it. So like maybe Captain Jack and Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. It would be nice to see him come back.
Yeah, it was
for
a shame that he didn't. Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like John Hurt as an introduction as the War Doctor was cool, but
Yeah.
I feel like that place could have still just been played by Christopher Eccleston.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Because he was like the new era anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, I agree. Again, I think there's ones that particularly that you pick out that you can't really go wrong. So any sort of, again, anyone with the Master in, but like as you say, the not Missy or not any of the others. The one, say John Sims is his name, guy who plays that.
Yeah, John Sims, the actor. Yeah,
I don't think you can go wrong with his Master episodes, and
No.
just generally any sort of season finale with David Tennant or with
yeah,
Christopher Eccleston. I think they're, and again like the anniversary one as well. You can't really go wrong with picking them as a favourite episode, because they bring a lot of characters together that you'd like to see together that you haven't been able to see together.
yeah,
And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of appealing to the fan base, which is exactly what everybody wants.
yeah.
So
I agree.
if that's all we've got on the favourite episode, then maybe we should go on to the next question, which is who's your favourite Sonic or laser device? Which favourite Sonic laser device?
I picked this based on design and how it looks, and it's
Okay.
Matt Smith's sonic screwdriver, the green one.
Yeah, I did exactly the same. I remember
Yeah.
having it as a toy as a kid, and you used to click the button and the top used to flick up, and I think it was awesome.
Yeah,
And yeah, I agree. I think it's design-wise, it looks the coolest.
yeah. David Tennant's sonic screwdriver, it's iconic in itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if you saw a picture of it, everybody would know that's a sonic screwdriver,
Yeah.
even people who haven't seen Doctor Who. But I had another one written down, which doesn't really count as a sonic device or laser device, but I feel like it's the same area. Vortex manipulator.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I agree.
You got a wristwatch where you can jump from places to places in time and space, wherever you want.
Which is
You
quite
got the
funny
TARDIS on your wrist.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
It's quite funny to think that the Doctor's got this box which is basically unlimited in space on the inside, and that's equivalently does what something that a small device on Captain Jack's wrist can do.
Yeah. But I think they say in the show that the vortex manipulator is not as efficient,
advanced,
or reliable as a TARDIS is. But still, though,
it's still really cool.
Something I'd like, and psychic paper as well.
Yes, yeah. It's basically part of the Doctor's toolkit, that, isn't it? I think it's such an underrated piece of kit because it's literally just a plain piece of paper which changes based on where he needs to get in or what he needs to do.
Whatever you need it to be, yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'd have loved a bit of psychic paper when I was 17.
I know, yeah.
When all you lot were 18 before me going out.
That would have been ideal. Yeah, I agree. Although they're not sonic or laser devices, they're still things that are interesting. But I think I'm agreed with you on that one. Matt Smith's is definitely the coolest sonic screwdriver. I think.
Design-wise, it's the coolest one I've seen so far.
Yeah.
What would you say is the worst sonic screwdriver design?
Okay, it's not a sonic screwdriver. I think it was the Adipose episode with the sonic pen. I just thought. I thought it was a bit lazy, and I thought, why have you given her that device?
Yeah, it was just a black pen with a blue light on, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Again, it was as a kid, I had a lot of the toys, and that was one I had as well, and I just thought it was a bit lame. It's just a pen.
Yeah.
Like, there was not really any design effort gone into it. It was just, like you said, it just had a blue light on the end, so I didn't really appreciate that one.
Mine would probably be Peter Capaldi's sonic glasses.
Again, I think it's a lazy move as well, isn't it?
It was literally just plain black glasses. Like, it looked like you could just buy them from Primark or something.
Yeah.
It was just so lazy, and it's just so unneeded. Like, it was
why have you done that? Yeah.
Give him a nice brand new cool sonic screwdriver. Why are you just giving him a set of plain black glasses? Like,
it seems stupid. Yeah. That does bring us on nicely, to be fair. So we've gone from the favourite Sonic. Whose was your favourite TARDIS look?
TARDIS design. I've said Matt Smith's second TARDIS design.
Okay.
Which kind of crosses over into Peter Capaldi's TARDIS design as well.
Yeah.
So do you know which one I'm on about? So not the first one when we first have Matt Smith and Amy and that.
Yeah.
What he has after that with Clara.
Yeah.
I like that one. I think the minimalistic. It looks like a machine.
Yeah.
To me,
like it's very industrial, isn't it?
Yeah, while still modern at the same time.
Yeah. I think for me, I think the OG one is my favourite. Again, it's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's like it looks as alien as the Doctor. But then I think it's the idea that on the outside it looks very human, which is like the Doctor, and then when you go inside, it's very alien. Again, like the Doctor, in such that you'd like.
Are you on about Chris Ferguson and David Tennant?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But sorry, that's mistaken. Yeah. But yeah, I think that one for me, like, I like how the arches are like, they look like they've almost got veins running through it and stuff. I think it's really cool. I think that's my favourite.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like a living machine, which is what the TARDIS is. It's a living machine.
It's that whole thing that it looks very normal on the outside. It's just a police box. But as you go on the inside, it's very alien. And again, I think that's kind of like a metaphor for the Doctor. Like, he looks human. He looks everything like a human. But then when you realise that if you go inside, he's got two hearts and he's not human, he's an alien.
Yeah.
I like that kind of linkage. So I think that's why it's my favourite. That's why it's my favourite.
Yeah. That's a good reason. I like the second Matt Smith one, and I like it how Peter Capaldi takes over that design and you start adding props like bookshelves and
Yeah.
like chalkboards and all that.
It's like they're almost
'Cause it
customizing
looks-
their own space, isn't it?
Yeah, and it makes me think like this is like an old man's like getaway apartment sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like Matt Smith's first design is cool. The first time they designed it, it's cool, but like it doesn't look like a machine. It
No.
doesn't look like a vehicle. It just looks like a luxury house in a way.
Yeah.
And Jodie Whittaker's is just awful. I hate it. I hate Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's just a big salt lamp. Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS is.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
hate it.
Not a fan. I bet people are going to listen to this and just think we're massive Jodie Whittaker haters. We're not. It's just that the Doctor Who we grew up with, I think, has been a little bit
You know what?
destroyed.
Jodie Whittaker probably had a chance to be good if Doctor Who was led by a better team at the minute.
Yeah, so if we had like Russell T Davies era writing with current Doctor Who, with the current Doctor Who, I think it would have been perfect. But
I feel like they're trying to change it into that as well, though, like bringing back Captain Jack and all that.
yeah,
But we'll chat about Jodie in a bit.
Next question that we've got is, what was your least favourite episode, or episodes in that case? Because I think there's a couple that weren't particularly all that. So the first one I've got down, and it's a real shame that this one wasn't good, is the Absorbaloff one, because it's Peter Kay, and I really like Peter Kay.
What do you mean it's a real shame?
It's a real shame because I liked that
What
Peter
good are you
Kay
going to
was
get
in it.
out of it? You've got Peter Kay playing a monster from the Sardine family who can absorb people's faces into his body.
Yeah, I don't know why I had any hopes for it, but it's just the fact that he was in it. I'd have thought they would have given him a better character to play or a better enemy to play.
It's a risky episode as well, because Doctor Who tries it a few times where they remove the Doctor and the companion as the main characters for the episode. They turn them into side characters, which is what that was, Love and Monsters, but that didn't really work how they wanted.
No, not
But with
at
the
all.
Weeping Angels first episode,
it
worked really well.
I was gonna say that's the comparison. That is like, it was quite clear that obviously they still played a part in the Blink episode, but the main character was the girl. So yeah,
and I loved as well, like how timey-wimey they got with Doctor Who with Blink as well, where like he was having a conversation with him based on the notes that she gave him at the end of the episode in that book. Yeah, and that's why he was having a conversation with him in time, and it was just good.
I think it's when you go into it not understanding anything, and things start to like piece together as you slowly get through the episode, and you start to understand it. And like you said, by the end of the episode, you're like, it's crazy how it worked that way, and it did this and that, and how that was how he got this. But yeah, I agree. It's a real shame that they didn't give Peter Kay a better character to play.
Yeah,
I think it would have been really, really good if they would have slightly differently.
It's one of my least favourites, Love of Monsters, and another one is Fear Her with the scribble monster. Yeah. I just didn't like it. Like it's just why is it there?
I think again I've got that down as one of my least favourites. It just wasn't really. Yeah. I just don't feel like it was very enjoyable to watch. Like
I thought it was lazy again.
Yeah. I think with a Doctor Who episode, it's got to keep you gripped, and even if it's even if it's a boring, or not necessarily boring, but it's a part where they're trying to figure stuff out, it needs to be interesting still, and there needs to be some sort of like thing happening. Whereas this one, it felt like she just wasn't really. Like, it was just like kids were getting abducted or things were happening to drawings, and it was like, it wasn't really like gripping at any point. It was just sort of flatlined throughout.
During lockdown as well, when I was rewatching all the Doctor Who, I skipped these episodes. Like, I couldn't care less for them. Like, they don't exist to me in a way.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I said earlier, like, how David Tennant's my favourite Doctor. But the most episodes I don't like are his.
Yeah,
during
yeah.
his run.
It's ironic, isn't it? Yeah.
I think the only reason those episodes saved or exist because David Tennant as the Doctor saves them.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're agreed on the least favourite. There are probably a lot more. There's been a lot of Doctor Who episodes, and I can't think of any off the top
There's
of
the
my
other
head.
one as well with the TV screens and the woman's
Oh,
in the TV
yes.
screens and she sucks the people's faces.
That's
I don't like that one either.
Is that's Ninth Doctor era, I think, is it? Oh no, that's 10th still, isn't it? Where he
No,
gets
it's 10th season 2 still.
Yeah.
These are all season 2.
Yeah.
Again, it's just boring.
Yeah,
That's the best way to describe them. They're just boring.
I think
And like,
I think the premise was there. It had a good background story with like it was kind of like an abusive father and a child and like I think the backstory was there. I think they had the right era, and I like how he come out on a Vespa, and it was like it was quite like quirky. But I agree with you. Once you got into the episode, it just seemed to be a bit. It's not trying to like persuade you to carry on watching. It's not interesting.
Nah. They just wasn't enjoyable.
No,
that's why I didn't like them. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Least favourite companions.
Okay. I've got Matt Lucas and Bradley Walsh, and I'm not even sure what the character names that they play. I just remember watching a couple of episodes with them, and I just thought, I see Matt Lucas as the guy from Little Britain.
Yeah.
Or the guy from Come Fly With Me. He's comedy. Now,
yeah,
with a doctor or a companion, I think you need to be able to do both sides. And for me, personally, I just don't think he really fitted the bill.
To be fair though, I agree with you, but also don't agree with you. I feel like Matt Lucas's role was comic relief.
Yeah,
and because Matt Lucas was never just the only companion.
There was again that's something that I disagree with, from the fact that I think more than one companion should be like a special episode.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm used to the Doctor being with Rose or with Martha or with Donna, or when he's not, he's either on his own or he's either with Jack, or when they all come together, they don't necessarily travel together. It's usually like, or like you get a special episode where Mickey goes along or where Rory goes along, or I think seeing the Doctor with like 2+ companions just isn't right for me. And I think that's why I dislike it.
But they say it themselves in the show, like the Master Missy, she goes, "Oh, you brought your companions along, exhibition and comic relief."
Yeah,
because that is what the companions are. That's what they're there for. That's why they're written in.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but I think there's reasons behind why Matt Lucas is the character he is.
Yeah.
But where you said Bradley Walsh as well, again, I agree, but also don't agree. I wouldn't just put it on Bradley Walsh. I think Bradley Walsh is the best part out of the 3 companions we've had at the minute with this new era.
Yeah.
Which they like to call the fam, and it's so cringe. But
very right.
Out of them 3, like you got Ryan, Yaz, and Graham, Bradley Walsh's character. I feel like Bradley Walsh's character is the best part of that.
Yeah.
But overall, those 3 as companions and that, it doesn't work. I don't think they're good actors. Again, it could just be blamed on the writing, and it's just cringy. I feel like they talk about stuff like it's an adult explaining it to a child, to me, like I'm the child, and that they're just there to ask questions. That's the only reason they're there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But that's what I meant kind of when I put Bradley Walsh anyway. I was thinking that era, but again, I haven't watched enough to have remembered the names of the other companions.
Yeah.
So he was kind of the first one that popped in my mind when I thought of that.
To be honest, he's the best bit. And he has like a side story where he has like cancer and that, but like they never go into it. It's just there. It's just like, oh, oh yeah, I have this side story where I have cancer, but they never do an episode dedicated to it or anything
Never
like
play
that. It's
on
just
it.
there.
No.
And
Yeah.
again, I think it's just bad writing. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, so the next one we've got is villains and characters that we just feel that we haven't seen enough of. So, do you want to start with the villains for this one?
Yeah, we'll start with the villains. One of them for me would be the Silence.
Yeah.
We got a bit of them during like Matt Smith's time,
Yeah.
but like we haven't really seen them since. They had a cameo in Jodie Whittaker's latest episode on New Year's. They were like one of the prisoners in that prison she was in.
Yeah.
But apart from that, not much else has been done with them, and I'd like to see a bit more done.
Yeah.
Maybe like, because like it was basically said that they'd been around all through human history until until the Doctor like ratted them out with the TV clip, and everybody saw him as like killing them.
Yeah.
In like the American Astronaut episodes and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, why don't we go back in time before that and see an episode of how they might have been manipulating something, maybe Victorian times, manipulating the monarchy or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, just do something interesting with it.
A little bit more development. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. For me, I think, considering that they're classed as one of the Doctor's like I'd say top 3 arch enemies, but with the Cyberman and the Daleks, I'd say the Zygons.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were quite prevalent in the old Doctors before the Ninth Doctor, but for me, in the era between the Ninth and the 12th, I really don't feel like we've seen that many of them.
Nah, to be fair, they brought them back for the 50th, didn't they?
Yeah,
and it was like they did it to persuade. I don't think David Tennant would have needed much persuading to come back anyway.
No.
But I think he was like, I'll come back, but I want the Zygons in the episode.
Yeah.
And obviously they did it for him because he always wanted the Zygons to be in an episode whilst he was doing this run, and they never were.
I was going to say there was never any like, well, you've also got like fucking 9th and 11th and 12th where we never saw them. Like I said, apart from that one episode, I'm pretty sure they've never really popped up again.
No, they did. That was in Peter Capaldi's run.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, they were in a few episodes there.
They're in the 2-parter, but apart from that, I don't think they have, no.
Nah.
So that's 3 episodes of like New Who.
One of the main, like I said, considering like they're one of the main arch enemies of the Doctor,
yeah.
It's a bit of a shame. For me, another one as well is the Slitheen. I really enjoyed the Slitheen episodes where the ship crashed into the London Eye, Big Ben, sorry. And I just don't feel like we've had enough of them. There's a bit as well in Sarah Jane.
I think with the Slitheen, they were really goofy.
Yeah.
And a bit of a childish villain, if you get what I mean. Yeah. Which made them work perfectly for Sarah Jane Adventures because that was a kid show.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane Adventures was. And but they were fun on Doctor Who as well.
I still feel as though they had quite a fear element as well. So like for me, the scene where essentially what you've got to think is you're being chased by these big massive green fuckers with claws. Like I think there's still potential there that they haven't really unlocked. But I get what you mean. Like the first time we really saw the Slitheen, it was a bit like, they were farting and they're like, ooh. It seemed like you said, it seemed a bit fun and childish. But that's just my opinion. I think we should have seen a bit more of the Slitheen. I think you'll agree with this one because I remember us having a discussion on it. But the Dream Lord, that episode with Matt Smith.
The thing with the Dream Lord is it was never confirmed to actually be a physical enemy character in the sense it was basically like
particles, wasn't it?
These particles that go into the TARDIS and put them in this stasis.
Yeah.
And he was meant to be some kind of representation of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Then but then they teased at the end of that episode that he wasn't, so maybe he isn't. But as a character and all that, I thought it was very good. And just the premise, like choose which one's real, which one's a dream, whichever one you die in will decide whether you exist in the real world or you die forever.
Yeah, and I think again, there's a whole like backstory if you look into it, like with the whole, basically like Amy and Rory were essentially living like a perfect life. Like she was pregnant, they were happy, but then that was just a dream. But then the sad reality was that they weren't having any of that, and they kind of had that discussion where they were like, well, I think we should choose this one because this one's better. Yeah. And I think, again, like I like the ones that have like a kind of hidden meaning.
Yeah. They were at risk, though, as well, because the risk behind it was, like, if they died in the dream...
They died full stop, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, again, like I said, it's got hidden themes of, like,
I've got that the wrong way round. If they died in the dream, they'd survive reality, but if they died in reality, they'd be dead.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's that whole, like, hidden themes and meanings behind stuff, which, again, like, you miss as a kid, but you can still enjoy the episode, but then as an adult, you really come to appreciate stuff like that.
Yeah. Story-wise, he was a very good character, the Dream Lord, and the villain. You had another one as well, which you mentioned with the family, the Scarecrow people and that.
I think that's one that it's a shame that we can't revisit, because essentially the Doctor just kind of... I really enjoyed the episode because it was like... It was something completely different.
Yeah.
Like, we'd never seen anything like the family before. And
I think it was one of the darker stories we've seen the Doctor do.
Definitely, I agree.
Especially with the way he punished them.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't the Doctor. It was John Smith. So again, like, we've had this whole... And again, we cover, like, because it's set in the past, it covers, like, racism as well through the character of Martha.
Yeah.
So we're covering themes that should be covered. And
I never noticed that till a rewatch. Because when I was younger, I never noticed any of that stuff. But again, when I rewatched it, I was noticing it.
But yeah, I think that episode, I think it was a couple of episodes, wasn't it? Where I really enjoyed them. And again, because the Doctor punished them quite horrifically, and that essentially there was no way of them ever coming back. Like, but if there was the possibility, or they could always rewrite something and say that they somehow escaped, or you know. I mean, one was tossed into a star, wasn't it? So,
yeah, the one was like chained up for life in some agonizing room or something. Yeah. The other one was chucked into a black hole. And the other one was like frozen in time and became a scarecrow.
And then one was trapped in a mirror, wasn't it?
Yeah, in like another dimension within the mirror.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter anymore because Jodie Whittaker's Doctor's retconned it all and she released them all in a separate story.
So again, like we said, we'd like to see them return, but they couldn't have returned. But in typical
I don't
new
think
Doctor Who fashion,
I don't think the Doctor releasing them makes sense.
No, especially after he'd gone and been ruthless.
Yeah, I feel like another villain should have released them, or they got out somehow on their own.
Yeah.
Because it completely retcons that whole story, the Doctor's arc, and it'd be like, a few years have passed now, I guess I'll let him go now.
Yeah. They should have learned their lesson by this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's just... it seems silly.
Yeah, we'll move on to characters that we want to see more of. I wrote down first one, Captain Jack.
Yeah.
Because like I said, whenever he does pop up, it's only once or twice in a season.
And it's always a really good episode when he's in it, I think.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to see him as a main companion for a season or something.
Yeah, which we've never seen, have we? Yeah.
No. And I also put Sarah Jane as well, because it wouldn't be possible now, because obviously Elizabeth Sladen passed away. But would have been nice to see her pop up a few more times, because we got her in season 2 and we got her in that like big companion reunion episode. I think it would have been I think it would have been cool to see her with Peter Capaldi's Doctor.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with that one to some respect, but again, Sarah Jane was like had her own companionship with like some of the older Doctors, I think. I think the reason she kind of just popped up here and there was that they didn't want to basically have her as a companion again. And I think
it was more of like a nod to Classic Who and a bit of like fan service to those who came from
exactly
Doctor
so
Who.
those who watched it from like you said, Classic Who or the old Whoniverse. It was kind of like you said, a nod
the character
that
made the revival canon to Classic Who.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
But on that note, I'd have liked to have seen more of K9.
Yeah.
Because
we haven't seen him since.
I think he appeared in the one. I think it was the Krillitane episode.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the last time he was seen, because the Doctor he basically died at the end, but then the Doctor sort of pieced him back together.
He turned up in Journey's End, the big crossover episode. But after that,
not seen him since.
Yeah, and it would have been cool to see other Doctors interact with him, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a really good one, K9. I completely forgot about K9.
Again, though, like, because you've only seen him once or twice, like, it only clicked because I thought Sarah Jane and I was thinking about that Krillitane episode. You know what? That is one that I missed from my favourite episodes. I really enjoyed the Krillitane episode.
Yeah.
Because of how many different characters was involved in it. So, yeah.
I've got another as well, which I think you'll agree with. And that's the Ninth Doctor as a character.
Yes.
Which we could have seen more of. Maybe a couple more seasons of him as the Doctor.
I really think that he missed a trick by just doing the one.
Well, from stories and what's been released, basically it was created differences between him as the character and what he wanted to do with the character with the writers.
Yeah, and I suppose I can understand that, because obviously the people who were writing the new Doctor Who had a lot of pressure to still. It was basically a reboot of the classics, so they obviously wanted to do it their way and make sure it was safe.
Yeah, and I think Christopher Eccleston, he just mutually stepped down.
Yeah,
because of creative differences. But I don't know if they reached out to him for the 50th. I can't remember. I think they did, and he might have turned it down. Because I think he did. Because I remember him saying there was a statement that he did the once after it, saying that he regret not taking the offer for the 50th. I think.
Yeah. And it is a damn shame.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, he kicked it off for me, and I think I do think to some respect that if he'd have done a couple more seasons and David Tennant still had his length of a run, I reckon a lot more people would consider Christopher Eccleston as a favourite Doctor. And I know it varies from generation, but generally, like a lot of mine and yours generation, so like late 1990s, early 2000s, I think a lot of people consider David Tennant to be the best Doctor. Whereas if you look a little bit further down the line, I know my brother is a little bit younger than me, who thinks the 11th Doctor is. Yeah. Which I completely disagree with. I don't think Matt Smith was a bad Doctor.
Don't get me wrong, Matt Smith was great.
Yeah.
But compared to the stories and like the acting and the scenes and the arc, like David Tennant / Christopher Eccleston, like Russell T Davies, that era, like it's just bang on for me.
I think what was missing for me with the 11th Doctor was it wasn't very. It had an underlying story with the cracks in time, but I don't think the episodes flowed into each other very nicely. Whereas you kind of with the 9th and the 10th Doctor, they flowed very nicely into each other, and they felt like there was an actual full story. It was like almost watching a film, just in separate episodes.
Yeah.
Whereas the 11th Doctor seemed to jump here, there, and everywhere. So
yeah, that's true. I think they got better with that, to be fair, with introducing Clara and the Impossible Girl storyline.
Yeah,
that was good. going on like characters coming back and like doctors wishing we saw more of. I wrote down the Eighth Doctor as well, Paul
Yeah.
McGann.
Okay, yeah.
So the one who regenerated into John Hurt's War Doctor,
Yeah.
because he's only done that movie, which I've never seen, but I reckon we should do like a little watch of it and talk about it.
I agree. Yeah, we should do that.
And he did that short for the 50th, where he regenerates into John Hurt, and like he plays it so well. Like even just that 10-minute short, like that's the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it wouldn't hurt to do a little spin-off season of him as the Doctor for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the BBC won't do that. Of course they won't.
Well, the spin-offs we've had so far, they did amazing with Torchwood. They did amazing with Sarah Jane Adventures, and I think they were trying to kind of split it so that there was Doctor Who's like a complete, like broad range avenue, so you can watch it as a child or as an adult. Then Torchwood's your adult version, and then Sarah Jane is like your younger kids, sort of young adults kind of a version of stuff. But
talking about spin-offs, me and you had a few of our own like personal ideas, didn't we, of what they could have done or what they could still maybe do.
If any BBC producers ever do tune into this, take notes, because this is what the fan base wants.
Yeah.
And by fan base, I mean us too. But I think anybody else that's like a fan of Doctor Who from our era I'm sure they'll agree with what we've got to say here.
I'm sure they will, because I think they're good ideas. The one idea we've got is like with Martha and Mickey, because they're an item now when we last saw them.
Yeah, have like a unit spin-off.
Well, that's the thing. They weren't really unit when we last saw them. They were more like freelance, weren't they? Yeah. But even that, maybe if they're like freelance and they work alongside unit, or you do the unit spin-off and treat it like Torchwood and have Martha and Mickey a part of it.
What I'd like to see is maybe starting with unit and then sort of telling the story of how they ended up freelance.
Yeah. The thing is, though, they couldn't do unit anymore because they've retconned it with, guess what, with Jodie Whittaker's area. Oh,
amazing.
Basically, she tries to call unit in one episode and it's just not a thing anymore. They said unit went bankrupt and it's not a thing anymore. So I thought unit was a government-funded operation.
Yeah. So you're telling me the government's gone bankrupt?
That's what I mean.
But I think it's still possible. I think they just go back. So it's like, because again, a lot of these would never really work now with the current Doctor. I think a lot of them are going to be more prequel than, and I suppose they wouldn't really be canon anymore. But
definitely.
The one that I had was a River Song spin-off. So it's a bit of a wishy-washy one, because obviously a lot of the stuff that she does involves the Doctor in a reverse timeline. But because of the way she is, I reckon there's obviously a potential to have her doing her own adventures, essentially.
Yeah, and I like the sound of a River Song one, because the other spin-offs we've got, they're all Earth-based.
Yeah.
With River Song, you've got the potential of every episode being on a different planet.
Exactly, yeah. She's not based on Earth.
Yeah.
And essentially there's nothing keeping her there, because she's kind of like interlinked with the Doctor, and then obviously the Doctor spends a lot of time on Earth, but the Doctor's companions are often from Earth, which means we get a lot of episodes on Earth. But yeah, I agree. Like I think that's what made me think it'd be really good. And I think I like the character of River Song anyway, and it'd be nice to see her have some different interactions with people that aren't the Doctor, and to be like, I think on her own as a standalone character, she's good enough to have had her own spin-off.
I think it'd be fun as well if that ever was a series, like the River Song spin-off series. Yeah, it'd be fun to see maybe Captain Jack pop up in an episode and they work together on something, because they're both similar as characters in a sense. They're both these like flirty, courageous characters.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people I'd like to just see pop up in it.
To,
Like we could
to be
end up
fair,
seeing.
make it the series where we see the scene where River Song gets the vortex manipulator of Jack,
Yeah.
and make that a whole episode of how she gets it.
Yeah. Or even like how you could even have episodes that kind of introduce how she ends up at the library with the Vashna Narada.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Do
this
the
is
in
what happened
betweens,
from
fill
this is
in the
what happened.
gaps.
Yeah, this is what happened from the Doctor's perspective, but this is how River Song actually got here and why she got here and how she found a team.
Yeah.
And I think that'll work really well.
All we basically got River Song's arc backwards.
Yeah.
We got her death first, and then we had her after that.
Yeah. All the way till when she was born, basically.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of potential for something like that, though. A lot of potential.
Yeah, but again, BBC probably won't do it.
Never gonna happen. Because I think for now it's too little, too late. Especially the next one that we've got down here, which is like a Rose and Doctor series. In the parallel universe. I think it's too little, too late.
This is stemming off the Journey's End, the big crossover episode. We've mentioned this loads now, that episode. But basically, there's a meta crisis Doctor, a Doctor like created half Time Lord, half human Donna.
Yeah.
Through regeneration energy. I don't know. It's complicated. It's weird.
Yeah.
But and he's called the Meta Crisis Doctor, and he ends up staying with Rose in this parallel world. But I'm pretty sure in this parallel world we've seen anyway, they've had Cybermen. They must have other alien people attack this parallel Earth. Why not have Rose and Doctor be the ones in this Earth in this spin-off series? Well, Rose and the spin-off Meta Crisis Doctor tackling these aliens and just show what they got up to.
Yeah, and look, as you say, she's in a parallel universe, so it'd be nice maybe to see, similar to how Marvel are doing like a what if.
Yeah.
To see how the Doctor and Rose would have done things if things would have been slightly different.
To be fair, I'd go a step further, because they're both a bit older now, Billy Piper and David Tennant.
Yeah.
If they did it now, do it where they've got a family, they've got some kids.
Yeah.
And,
so just like
all this. And they could be like a family that fight aliens or whatever. It's just ideas popping into my head.
Yeah. Again, though, BBC are never going to do this because too little, money. Too late. Yeah, and money. Yeah. The last one I thought of, and this stems from David Tennant's last few episodes, and from where we've just seen the Time Lords pop up every now and again. But I'd like a Time Lord prequel just to explain Gallifrey properly, because we get like bits and bobs dragged from here and there, and when I say properly, I mean properly, like
I want to understand. I'd like
Like-
to see that too, but they've already done it in the worst way possible. I don't know.
Can I have a guess which era it was possibly done? Was it Jodie Whittaker?
Jodie Whittaker,
Right,
yeah.
okay. I mean, all things aside, we're giving Jodie Whittaker quite a hard time, and it's not her, it's the writing, it's how they've completely changed Doctor Who canon.
Thing is, I've seen Jodie Whittaker in things that she's been in Black Mirror. She's been in
really
a movie
good.
called Journeyman, which I saw, which was really
She's
good.
a really good actress.
Yeah.
Really good actress. But it's like I said, it's just a shame that the show's become a little bit too. It's kind of took its own path away from the Doctor Who that we're used to, and I think people describe it as being too woke. I think that's the word we look for.
I think the writers are trying to tackle every single issue that's been brought up within this generation right now with genders, race, and all that. When in reality, all they've got to do is write Doctor Who like they always did.
Yeah.
But just make sure you don't say anything offensive. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not hard. It's not hard to not be offensive.
In all honesty, Doctor Who never really did anything that was offensive anyway, or not in my opinion. I think they addressed issues which should have been addressed in the right way.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of lost track of that a little bit when obviously new writers got on board and started writing the Jodie Whittaker era Doctor Who.
Yeah. And I think this is moving on very smoothly to our last point, and
before
That's
before we move on, I just wanted to say in that Time Lord prequel, I want to see an origin story for the Weeping Angels, because the Weeping Angels are
okay.
hinted at being Time Lords. Now, time is
Yes.
connected, is essentially what connects the two, and we see in that last episode of David Tennant's the Time Lord women essentially
Yeah.
doing the
He
same
calls them
pose.
he even calls them the weeping angels of
Exactly, and I
something.
think there's so much to explore with a Time Lord prequel, or even just an explanation to Gallifrey and the whole, and it's very unexplained.
Have you seen the
And
theory that weeping angels are dead time lords?
yeah, which would make
Yeah,
complete and utter sense, wouldn't it?
because there's this idea, when you die, you turn into an angel and go to heaven.
Yeah,
Maybe when a time lord dies, they turn into an angel that messes around with time. Like,
exactly, yeah.
yeah, so it
It would
makes
make
sense.
sense, yeah. But yeah, there's so much to be explored down that avenue that
Yeah,
I think it would really, and especially for me, like I think that would be the most appealing route to take, especially with the condition that Doctor Who's in now, which, like you said, it does bring us nicely on us really addressing what the problem is with the Doctor Who at the
yeah.
moment.
The
I mean,
problem with Doctor Who.
as I said
Um,
before, I think for me, I just stopped watching after a few episodes of Jodie Whittaker. It wasn't appealing. I didn't
yeah,
feel like it was made for my age range, and I feel like they kind of just ruined it, in all honesty.
yeah. See, I I sat through it just because I love Doctor Who and I'm always gonna watch it. I think it's
Die
like,
hard Doctor Who fan. Yeah,
yeah, like it's in my brain that I have to watch it. Otherwise, I'd feel bad in a sense if I hadn't.
yeah,
And so I've sat through this Jodie Whittaker era. I have skipped a couple episodes here and there, I will be honest, but
yeah,
and a lot of fans as well as me will agree it's probably the worst era of Doctor Who we have ever seen. And it's not even the case that the lead's been taken over with a female role instead of a male role. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
no.
It's an interesting way to turn the
I
show
was going to
around.
say, in fact, if anything, I agreed with putting a female in that
Yeah.
role, and if the writing would be better and it was a bit more
Well,
thought out and
that's
it
all it
had,
is. It's the writing. There's no arc. There's no element of story whatsoever or character development. And they keep retconning things that mean a lot to Doctor Who.
yeah,
So,
which is why the episode with the history of the Time Lords, which is what we were just talking
yeah.
about, which is how they retcon that and completely changed the past of the Doctor.
Be Before that, we had an episode called Fugitive of the Jadoon. And
Yeah,
in that, we had the big twist of this other female Doctor existing. And no one knew where she came from. So theory scientists sprouse online, like, this female Doctor's played by Joe Martin. Theories came online about maybe it's a Doctor from a parallel universe,
yeah.
or alternate dimensions. Maybe Doctor Who's going to go on a path with like alternate dimensions and that. And there
So
was
so
and there was theories to
Marvel
say,
Marvel eat your heart out because Doctor Who was already thinking about multiverse
yeah.
before you.
And there was theories that were going to come about saying that like this whole Jodie Whittaker era has just been a different universe, and it isn't actually a part of what we know already of Doctor Who. But
Yeah,
no, how wrong we all were. In the episode The Timeless Children, the finale to this season, we get closure on who this mysterious other female Doctor Who is.
yeah,
And she's really good as the Doctor, by the way. She is really good, but arguably better than Jodie. But we also get a bit of an origin to Time Lords and Gallifrey and what it's all about.
yeah,
And we're building up to it. We're building up to the twist. The Timeless Children get involved, which is like a mythological story of the Time Lords and where they came from.
yeah.
And the big twist is that the Doctor's been the timeless child this whole time,
Right.
and doesn't have limited regenerations, has unlimited regenerations, because that's what Time Lords have got it from. They got it from the Timeless Child, which makes the Doctor immortal, and it doesn't make, and it changes what the Doctor is. The Doctor's meant to be, he isn't meant to be this powerful figure. He's meant to be one of the normal Time Lords who just decided no, and made that decision with like the Time War and like destroying Gallifrey and all that, and that created the whole arc of Chris Ferguson, David Tennant, and all that.
Yeah.
And saying that they're the reason regeneration exists, so they have unlimited regenerations, making them immortal, completely retcons Matt Smith's last few episodes, and it disrespects William Hartnell as the first Doctor, because now you're saying he is not the first Doctor. There's been many of other Doctors before him.
Yeah.
He's always been known in history as the first Doctor, and you can arguably say has made the show what it is now.
Exactly,
He started the whole thing at the end of the day. Yeah. But if they are going down that route, saying that this is versions of the Doctor that came before William Hartnell, it doesn't make sense that Jo Martin, this new female Doctor, this mysterious one, has a TARDIS as a police box. Because the whole reason it's a police box was when William Hartnell stole it, the first Doctor, and the Chameleon Circuit got stuck, and it stayed as a police box.
Yeah.
So if there was Doctors before that who had a TARDIS, it wouldn't make any sense for them to have a police box until they got to William Hartnell.
No, exactly, because when he actually stole the TARDIS, it was like some circular tube shaped thing. It didn't really have a shape or a...
Yeah.
So I agree, it would never make sense for it to be a police box before it was stolen. Yeah.
And it wasn't even said that he travelled through time or anything like that before. He must have done it in some cases, but not the way he does now, not that we know Doctor Who as it is now. It was just a residence of Gallifrey. And then he stole the TARDIS, and then the Time War happened, and he pressed that big red button to kill all of Gallifrey and all the Daleks and that. It retcons all of that.
So if anything, in sort of summary of everything we just said, it kind of... The new era of Doctor Who is more destructive than it is creative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially what we're doing is we're going, this is what story we want to write. We're not going to look at any past history on Doctor Who, anything that has previously been written. We're just going to hope that this can be explained as the new canon for Doctor Who, and this is how we want it to continue. But I don't know whether they're trying to introduce, like, maybe we're not seeing here is that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th is like, that's another era, and then what they're trying to do is start a new era. And I think maybe we feel as though the way that people who watch the 8th Doctor and previous feel about our generation of Doctor Who, but I agree that it shouldn't be destructive. It shouldn't have gone against, like, Matt Smith's episode, that he was getting old and that he didn't have another regeneration and that he was going to die. And it's because it should have ruined past canon.
They're completely like crapping on all those actors' versions of the Doctor and all their stories. Because just with this one little twist, it completely changes all that, and it basically says none of that matters anymore.
No, this is what we're doing now, and this is what's going to be the case.
And it doesn't feel like I'm watching Doctor Who anymore.
No.
Like, everything I knew about Doctor Who, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you see those memes that ruin your childhood?
Yeah.
Jodie Whittaker's era of Doctor Who is one big meme ruining every other Doctor Who, or every other Doctor, that was in the past. But
I think loads of people hate this episode. I think it is one of the most hated episodes of all time, and the BBC came out with a response. I got it up earlier. Remember?
They got a lot of complaints about it, didn't they? The episode.
I'll read through it, and we'll go through it together. What they're like trying to say. So they came out and said, I think it was like a week after the episode aired, maybe even shorter than that.
Not long then.
A spokesman from the BBC said, Doctor Who is a beloved long-running series, and we understand that some people will feel attached to a particular idea they have of Doctor Who. It's not an idea. It's canon. It's not an idea. It's not our idea of Doctor Who. It's what you've written Doctor Who to be.
When you write a series or a film, there is a transition between Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
And there was a transition between David Tennant and Matt Smith. It wasn't like we're cutting it off here and now Jodie Whittaker's starting a brand new Doctor Who that's completely... Obviously, they get rebranded and everything gets reshifted. They get a new look. There's a new actor. There's a new sonic screwdriver. But generally... as it said, it's beloved and it's long running. You need it to carry on, and you need it to understand. You need to understand that the past influences the present in Doctor Who.
And they go on to say, or that they enjoy certain aspects of the program more than others. Opinions are strong, and this is indicated. What? Strong, and this is indicate. I don't know what that word says, of the imaginative hold that Doctor Who has, that so many people engage with on so many levels. We wholeheartedly support the creative freedom of the writers. So now they're basically saying that, like, we gave our writers creative freedom, we should be respected for it. And we feel that creating an origin story is a staple of science fiction writing. What was written does not alter the flow of stories from William Hartnell's brilliant Doctor onwards, but it does. It makes no sense. It retcons everything which you have already written.
It's not only destroying past. It's not only destroying stuff from the first Doctor. It's also destroying stuff from the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It's going through stuff that, like, this whole story that we've been told, it's like them saying, this is how the story is, but that's all a lie because this is what actually happened. So that means that's irrelevant, that's irrelevant, that's irrelevant, this is irrelevant, this part's irrelevant. So it is affecting the flow. The science fiction bit about how it should have an origin story already had an origin story.
We already had one, yeah.
Exactly, and that should not have been altered or changed through them rewriting how Time Lords basically code what was a Time Lord and how it was defined. And it does change canon
through, like, that story with the Timeless Children. It basically says the Doctor started as a young girl and grew up from that to be who we know them as now.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make sense because we see the Doctor as a little boy in that little cabin in the Peter Capaldi episode in Hyde. But that at the same time as this news story which they're saying, that moment where he's a young boy in the cabin on Gallifrey, at the same time he should have been an older Gallifreyan at this point. So the stories don't cross over properly, they don't interlock properly.
No.
And they go on to say it just adds new layers and possibilities to this ongoing saga. You can argue, it does add new possibilities and stories.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But what it's also doing is ruining what's come before, which is the argument.
And I think, as I said to you before, I think if they were being creative, I think them giving creative freedom to their writers is fine, as long as there's a clause that says you can't destroy past canon or past storylines in order to make your story make sense. It needs to be linked, or it needs to be said that, okay, this is an alternate view on how it started, and this is in an alternate universe, like we said before, or we say that Jodie Whittaker's series is non-canon, and this is a different view of Doctor Who. And this is, as you said, like the whole multiverse idea, instead of you trying to say that this is what happened, Matt Smith being old and having to basically get more regenerations from the Time Lords is irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and they finish off the statement with we have also received many positive reactions to the episode's cliffhanger. I think they had about 10% positive reactions to it. There are still a lot of questions to be answered, and we hope that you will come back to join us and see what happens. But we appreciate that it's impossible to please all of our viewers all of the time, and your feedback has been raised with the programme's executive producer. But if you want us to be happy with what you're doing, then don't completely ruin everything that we grew up watching with this show.
And I think if you look at understandably TV and like watching through BBC, ITV, Sky, anything like that, I know that's on the decline anyway. But if you look at the viewings of Doctor Who when we were younger compared to now, like, I would still be happy to sit and watch Doctor Who on TV if it was still good.
Yeah.
I know, obviously that's a strong opinion and that's very subjective of me saying that it's good or it's bad now. But in my opinion, the fact that it makes me angry, for one, that they've ruined everything from the past and it's destructive. It's creative destruction. But also that it's no longer enjoyable, and that as I said before, Doctor Who used to be appealing to not only kids but also to adults, and there was always a deeper story and there was a hidden meaning or something going on in the story where if you're a bit older you can understand it, but then if you watch it as a child it's a good story to watch because you can still understand what's going on. Whereas now it seems like they're trying to be too woke, and I think they're trying to appeal to the kids and kind of tunnel it so it's just aimed at them, and I don't think the writers are skilled enough to be able to put it together so that it's appealing to both sides.
I feel like it's like what I said earlier, they're trying to adapt the show now to a new generation, ones who haven't watched it before, and I think it's just really backfired. I don't think they realise how much of their audience has come from before.
They're essentially
how many of them are new.
Yeah, they didn't do their research, and now what essentially is what happened is, especially for people like me and you, like quite big fans of Doctor Who, I don't want to watch it anymore, and I'll be reluctant to watch anything past Jodie Whittaker now because of how much they've played and toyed and ruined that stuff from the past. Like, I just think it's quite... There's like fundamentals to a Doctor Who which you just need. So you need the Doctor to be quirky, which we've got. The Doctor is quirky. She's new. She's different. The looks of the Doctor Who, that doesn't necessarily have to change. It didn't really change between David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston. But I feel like if they want to change things there, that's not a problem. So, but I think what you need is, if you've got a companion, you need a companion. At least one companion.
Yeah. And
they need to have a backstory. So we've got Bad Wolf for Rose, and then we've got for Donna, we've got the whole "there's something on your back," and then the whole turn right, and the whole, you know, they've all got their own separate storyline. So it's like
you got Martha with parallel. Saxon,
exactly. Then you've got Matt Smith with the cracks in time, and they've all got like a underlying story which follows them through.
There's an arc. Which they're building towards with all these other stories,
which I think is really missing from this Doctor Who now, and I think that's fundamental because it's been through every series since Christopher Eccleston essentially rebooted Doctor Who back in the first as the Ninth Doctor. So
and going on with what you were saying, like when it comes to like a new regeneration, it is always a soft reboot to the show.
Yeah.
But what they've done here, they've completely rebooted it.
Yeah.
A soft reboot, like they've changed the logo a bit, the Doctor Who logo. They've changed what he wears, the style, like bow ties are cool. That's becoming the thing. The TARDIS design, the sonic screwdriver design. It's a soft reboot, but it's still Doctor Who at its core. But what they've done with Jodie Whittaker's era, they're completely rebooting it, and it's making the show die.
Yeah, which is a shame. I think, again, like I said, I'm reluctant to watch past Jodie Whittaker now. I might watch a few episodes, and
Yeah.
there's still potential for them to bring it back, but they're just
There's loads of potential. It's like
but
I
they're
said
just
to you, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it now. I'm sitting through it
yeah.
like it's a chore.
You don't watch it because it's enjoyable, but you watch it because you think this is Doctor Who. I've watched this since.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first series was around 2005, so it's well established.
Exactly. It's always been something in my life.
And it's a shame because it's been so many years that they've got it right. Like there's bits that look, there's always bad episodes, and we've seen bad episodes. And like you said, there's bad episodes in the 10th Doctor, which is what you consider to be your favourite Doctor. But
yeah.
majority of the time they've got it right. And now I don't think there could be any further away from right if they're trying.
I think all it is the team that got behind it, like the producers, the writers, the directors, the showrunners. I think they've employed all those people who haven't watched it before.
Yeah.
And they're just going off like notes of what's already happened.
Yeah. So in essence, the problem is quite complicated. So like, coming back to like the original question, what is the actual problem with the current Doctor Who? It's not the Doctor. The Doctor's fine. The fact that we've had a female Doctor is great. Companions, it could be argued that they're not perfect. But in reality, what we're saying is it's the writing. It's the fact that it's not canon and it doesn't continue on from Peter Capaldi or Matt Smith or any of the other past Doctors. And it's just how they've got creative power, which is great, but they're destroying everything from the past.
Yeah, I think a great way, because I feel like we've spoke about this for ages now, so I think a great way for us to settle it is the problem with Doctor Who is the BBC.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Plain and simple.
Right. Let's do something a bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, I think we've talked a little bit seriously, so I think this is a perfect time to do this. So we're going to play a little game of Doctor Who Would You Rather.
And we've come up with these. We tried to Google some Would You Rather questions, but we couldn't find any. So these are ours.
We made them ourselves, yeah. I think what we're going to do after the episode as well is when we do release the Instagram post for this, we'll post, if we can, the questions onto the post. So if you want to answer them yourself or whatever, you can.
Yeah. Play along.
So, right. So the first one, would you rather find out that you've been a Slitheen all along or a Zygon all along?
This is so we're just suddenly finding out without knowledge our whole lives that we've been one of these things.
You've just lifted up your fringe and all of a sudden you've got a zip on your forehead.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I've had this zip there my whole life. I've only just noticed now by lifting my fringe. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Or you just look in the mirror and you're a Zygon.
Well, I think I'm fat enough to be a Slitheen, but I'm also greasy enough to be a Zygon. They're just both disgusting creatures.
Perfect way of looking at it. Yeah, and I think I'm fat enough to be a Slitheen. I'd say Slitheen. Again, they're one of my favourites, and I think fucking someone pisses you off, you just unzip and you're like, what are you going to do now? I'll claw you to death.
I think I'd rather be a Zygon because they can change into anything.
Okay, that's a good one.
Slitheen are just limited to just having a human skin suit, whereas a Zygon I can just morph into a horse or something if I wanted to.
Out of all the things you could have possibly thought, you was like, nah, not like a dragon or something cool. You was like, if I wanted to be a horse, I could just go, and I'm a horse.
Mate, horses are hefty. I'd like to see you go 1-to-1 with the horse, and we'll see who wins.
Tune in for the next episode where Elliot faces a horse.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. This is a hard one. A really hard one. Would you rather work for Torchwood or Unit?
I'd say Torchwood.
Yeah, apparently that wasn't hard as... I'd say the same. I'd say Torchwood. The problem is with Unit, you get to work with Martha.
See, the thing with Torchwood, though, Torchwood seems like a group of mates and they're just working together, defeating aliens. But Unit, it's like, just looks like another job.
It's like a government agency, innit? It seems proper like serious and military.
Yeah, Torchwood looks like you're out with your mates doing stuff, but Unit just looks like another boring old job.
Yeah. I think a lot of the
That
stuff
makes
in
sense.
a lot of the stuff in Torchwood seems fun as well. Remember they had the gauntlet where you could bring someone back to life for like 20
Yeah,
minutes and have a chat with them. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was actually. Yeah, Torchwood,
yeah.
definitely. Okay then, and this one, I think this one genuinely is a hard one. So, would you rather watch your least favorite episode every day for the rest of your life, or never be able to watch or remember your favorite episode ever again?
Mm.
I'll start. I think if I don't remember what my favorite episode was, I think this might be a little bit of a thing in the wording of the question. But if I can't remember what my favorite episode was, then I'm not going to remember that I wanted to watch it because it was my favorite episode, because I don't even know it's my favorite episode. And I've got other favorite episodes, so I think
Yeah,
I'd say that not be able to
but
watch.
this is your most favorite episode ever.
Yeah,
The episode you
but
can always rely on.
it says you can't even remember it. So when someone's like, "Oh, what's your favorite Doctor Who episode?" You'd be like, "I ain't got a clue."
I think I'd watch my least favorite every day.
You reckon?
Yeah, because I might grow to like it.
I suppose so. Yeah, I don't know. The Scribble Monster.
Yeah, that's a really unique and cool villain, the Scribble Monster.
Yeah, I suppose, but it's still.
Are you agreeing? I'm being sarcastic. Of course it isn't. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd like to be able to draw something and someone just disappears off the street.
But I think I'd watch my least favourite episode every day, because I'd say out of everything, Day of the Doctor's my favourite, and I think without knowing that ever existed, it wouldn't make me love Doctor Who as much as I still do now.
Yeah, okay. That was a difficult one, man. That was a really difficult one. Now you've said that, it's made me being two minds about my answer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also,
right.
your argument makes sense as well. You don't know if it ever existed, so whatever choices you make beyond that won't ever really affect you.
Yeah. The next one. Would you rather get exterminated or be deleted?
I think deleted looks less painful.
I'd say that, but then extermination looks quicker.
Yeah, I was about to say being exterminated looks more instant.
Like it looks like you're zapped and that's it. Like you fall and you're straight down. Whereas when you get deleted, you kind of have a little bit of a shake before you
have a bit of a shake before you go down.
Yeah. I think I'd say. I mean, if I was looking for a nice, slow, painful death, then maybe I'd be deleted. But no, I'd say exterminated.
I'd say exterminated as well. Exterminated.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Let's go to the next one. Would you rather star in a Doctor Who episode or write one?
After everything
based on how Doctor Who is now.
Yeah,
and all the ideas that we have, like just as fans, I'd say I'd rather write one.
Yeah, me. Definitely.
Because I feel like if we were before Doctor Who dying, I'd like to star in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just in the background doing something.
Just walking past or something. That was our era.
Yeah.
Be on a set with people like David Tennant or Billy Piper or Freema Agyeman, like that would have been insane. But now, I have no interest in starring in the current Doctor Who. So if we're talking present day, I think I'd rather write one and try and revive the current shit show, which is Doctor Who now. I'd
try and save it. I'd try and be the Doctor for Doctor Who and save the show.
So next one, this is a funny one. Would you rather simp for Rose Tyler or simp for Amy Pond? This one's easy.
Actually, really hard.
Nah, this one's easy. Rose Tyler has always been. Yeah, it's got to be Rose. She was the first. I think
I'd say Rose as well.
Yeah.
I remember the other show she used to be in as well, Billy Piper. You remember Secret Diary of a Call Girl?
Yeah.
I
It's
remember
like
I'd
that's
secretly,
like childhood crush. It's like
yeah,
childhood
I'd
crush
secretly watch
territory.
that show late at night on ITV2 when I was younger. Yeah,
Don't tell Mum.
it'd probably be Rose Tyler because I obviously
Yeah.
simped over her when I was younger. So
Now,
yeah,
don't
probably
get
be
me
Rose
wrong.
Tyler.
Amy Pond is still simpable,
Yeah,
if that's even a word. But I think just from the fact that I got a massive crush on Rose Tyler when I was young, I think it's got to be her.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Would you rather be a
definitely.
companion? Would you rather your companion be from the past or the future?
Oh, a new companion. Would I rather it be from the past or
Yeah,
the future? How are
sorry,
you
yeah.
saying? Yeah, yeah. I think the past and like
Okay.
bring them into the future. I think that's always fun to watch.
Yeah,
Having
so
someone from like the 1600s come over here to the 2000s and seeing the
see what
world.
they think
I think,
about it. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's fun and interesting because it makes it more real.
yeah,
With a future companion from the future, it's always going to be fiction, not fact.
yeah.
They're not going to be from an actual place.
Yeah, definitely. I think I
So
agree on that one. That's
yeah,
literally pretty much the same lines as what I was going on as well.
yeah,
I think, yeah, I think because you are the Doctor and you've seen both past and future, I think when you have somebody from the past and they're in
yeah,
awe of everything that's come to be from their current present and then coming like many thousands of years into the future, I think that's a better on screen representation of what you'd be like
yeah.
in that position as well.
Because then you'd have the same scenes of companions from the present seeing the future, but with with companions from the past seeing the present because that's the future to them.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. It creates so many more different
possibilities.
possibilities and stories. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely from the past, I think.
yeah, I agree.
Next one, would you rather would you rather play the Doctor or be the Doctor?
So, what do you mean by this one? Is it like,
I think. By the way, we wrote these like a week ago, and we've kind of let them sat there. So we thought we'll leave them sat there for a bit, and then we'll go into it with a fresh mind. I think we meant like, would we rather be an actor playing the Doctor and playing this role, or would we rather be the Doctor, being able to travel through time, be in all these situations with Daleks and all that?
I'd say be the Doctor. It just seems very like adrenaline junkie kind of vibes. Like it feels like
Yeah,
every situation you get put in is like being at the top of a roller coaster and coming down that first initial slope and feeling that G-force. Like
but
playing the
you'll have a
Doctor would be
TARDIS
cool.
as well.
Yeah,
Do anything
exactly.
with a time machine.
Exactly. And I know, like, it's been portrayed that he's quite troubled and that he's thousands of years old and that he's a bit fed up and stuff. But,
Yeah,
you know, I could deal with that if I'm fighting zombies, fighting Daleks and Cybermen.
could
And,
fight zombies.
I
We
mean,
haven't had a Doctor
never
Who
know.
episode with that with zombies, so
Exactly.
yeah, I'm sure they can be written in some way.
Yeah, there's got to be a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd both rather be the Doctor. Next one, would you rather have Doctor Who episodes only set in the past or only set in the future?
Mm. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the past because every episode that I've watched in the past has had like a really cool storyline, but spin off based on stuff in the past. So it's not like this is how the past was. Like for example, the Witches episode with William Shakespeare,
Yeah,
and I think I like the stuff like that where it's got like Doctor Who merged with actual past and Earth past. So I
yeah,
think for me it's the
that's what I was
past.
gonna say. With the past, you have the possibility to introduce all these famous historical figures and have them be a part of the story. So with William Shakespeare, Agatha Christie,
Yeah,
etc., Charles Dickens as well.
yeah,
But also with the future, there's so much creative freedom a writer and a
that's
story
true.
can go with the future because it could literally be anything if it's the future.
Yeah, it's like
Like
the
you could
sky's
make
the
up
limit.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah. but also you can argue you're limited with past stories, and you got to work a story around it, and it might make the story more entertaining. But overall, I would say the past.
I think with the past, you can bring past and future together, because back then you did, like, for example, there was that huge being, that Agatha Christie episode. That to me is future. Although it's an enemy, you wouldn't really see that back in that time. And I think with the powers of science fiction, you can kind of merge it anyway. But
by the way, you carry on first. I'll let you finish.
Okay. If anything, I think past. Definitely set in the past rather than the future.
Side note with the Agatha Christie episode, I'm thinking back to that now because I remember rewatching it, and it's a really cool episode, an idea in that, and it's funny. David Tennant and Catherine Tate on screen together is hilarious. Yeah. But the whole plot twist where we find out who's the wasp murderer and everything, don't you think it's really dodgy that you basically learn that she gave birth to a wasp?
Yeah. Like, it was genuinely like...
Yeah, like she was pregnant with a wasp and gave birth to one, and the wasp somehow figured out how to shapeshift into a human like its dad. And she also had a sexual relationship with the father
with a wasp. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought nothing of it when I was younger, but when I was watching it now older, I was like, this is just weird.
Strange, really strange. So the next one that we've got on that one is, would you rather be chased by weeping angels or Vashta Nerada? So I think we talked a lot about the weeping angels in this. For those who don't remember what the Vashta Nerada was, it was the library episode with Donna. If anything, if anybody's going to remember it, it was the Donna Noble has left the library. Donna Noble has been saved.
The thing is, with the weeping angels, they're scary, and I think it's impossible to outrun a weeping angel. But like, when you do get killed by one, it isn't an instant death. They literally send you back in dice, so you die of age. Yeah. On that same day, which they send you back.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
I wouldn't really mind it.
It's not really dying, is it?
Yeah.
Whereas when you get killed by the Vashta Nerada, your flesh gets eaten.
The most messed up part about the weeping angels sending you back and you dying of old age on the exact same day as you're sent back, you're always going to know the day of your death.
Yeah.
And you're going to be sent away straight away from a life that you already know of, and you've got to adjust to a new one.
Yeah.
So you're going to be sent back to a time where there wasn't phones, laptops, etc. And I think that's just the main bad parts of being killed by a weeping angel. But I would rather be chased by one, because if I got caught by one, I don't think I'd mind it.
I'm more than happy. What I'd do is I'd run away from them and make sure I got the lottery numbers right, and then as soon as I'd figured out what the lottery numbers were for the time I was going to get fucked off back to, then I'd be like, yeah, go on, take me.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'd win the lottery, and then I'd have a sorted life. You know what I mean? I could die of old age, but be bougie. So yes, yeah, I agree. I'd rather go back in time than be eaten by flesh-eating monsters. So. On that one as well, our next one kind of relates to Vashta Nerada. So, like, which monster or entity would you rather see return in Doctor Who? Vashta Nerada or the creature from Midnight?
Now
they're both creatures or entities that we've only seen once.
Maybe
they've only had like one or two episodes.
Maybe the Vashta Nerada, but have it in a different place. Because their whole thing was in a library. Like,
I think the origin for them was that they came from a forest and they came through the wood.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about a story where we go to that forest?
Yeah. I think that'd be really good.
We see a story play out how they avoid shadows in a forest, because you think about it, it's impossible.
Yeah, there's always shadows because of the trees.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I think...
I'd say the Vashta Nerada for me. What about you?
I totally agree, and I think with the creature from Midnight, I don't want them to make another episode and completely ruin it. I think one episode did it perfect justice, and Yeah, I'd like to understand a little bit more about what it actually is, because I don't think it really
But
went into much detail. But
I think that works really well for it, because I don't think the purpose of that story was
to understand the creature.
It was to understand humans.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But yeah, I don't think they need to bring it back. So I think that, but the Vashnarada, I think they've got more than potential to, like you said, bring it back and have it in like a woods setting.
Oh yeah.
Trying to avoid it that way. So
yeah, bang on. Okay, next one. Which robotic companion would you rather have, K9 or Handles?
I'm gonna say
Handles
K9,
being the Cyberman head in time of the Doctor and that.
Yeah, I think I'd say K9. I don't know. It's just something about having a robot dog that can zap people out of its mouth.
I think K9 has a better AI than Handles. I think I could have like a human conversation with K9.
Yeah. And I just think
Handles is basically just like an upgraded Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was quite an easy one, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah, that's easy. K9 all the way.
So the next one, we've actually combined our 2 episodes earlier that we talked about as being our least favourite episodes and put them into a Would You Rather.
I didn't even think about that. I forgot that we even made this into a Would You Rather. Okay, go on. Read
Would
it.
you rather be absorbed by the Absorbaloff or turned into a drawing by the Squiggle Monster?
Oh, that is really hard. Would I rather be in Peter Kay's sweaty green body, or just turn into a crayon
drawing on a kid's wall
picture? I don't know. I think being absorbed into the Absorbaloff is probably the more disgusting one.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I think I'd rather be turned into a drawing.
Yeah. I think I'm
and then I'd be like one of the I'd be like one of the pictures on Harry Potter, the ones that move.
Yeah. You can get yourself hung up in the staircases at Hogwarts.
So yeah, it ain't that bad. Yeah, I'll be a picture. Bang on.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, I mean, I think you've still got some sort of consciousness where you are in a drawing, haven't you? Because they move and stuff, don't they?
True.
In that episode. So I reckon so, yeah. Like, understandably, like, I think you're still conscious as well when you're in the Absorbaloff because you still see their faces, don't you?
Yeah, that's true.
But I think I'd rather be part of a drawing than part of, like you said, some guy's big green belly or wherever you get absorbed.
It could be his arse cheek.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to be there.
As soon as he farts, that's it. You're done. You smell it every single time.
I'm not worried about farting. I'm worried about the other one.
Oh, that's grim. That's grim to even think about.
We'll move on to the next one. Would you rather look like a Centauran or be as tall as Banakavalata?
Oh dear. They're both pretty short.
Yeah.
Banakavalata's tiny. I don't know. I think I'd rather
Banakavalata's also a cyborg.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But you wouldn't be a cyborg.
And he also
talking about
Kylie Minogue in that episode.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Short Kings for the win. You know what? Yeah, I'd probably say as tall. No, I'm going to say look like a Sontaran.
All right.
You just look like a big potato, don't you? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think like a Sontaran. They're the most human looking, they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a Sontaran. You basically am one now, eh? You shake your head.
Oi, rude. Yeah, pretty much. You just look like a potato. Okay. Would you rather meet your past self or your future self?
I don't know.
I think there's a bit of a paradox in this question.
Yeah.
Because if you meet your past self, you are meeting your future self. And if you meet in your future self, you are meeting your past self. Do you know what I mean? Because
Hell, stop. Why have you got to make it complicated?
Right, here you are now and you meet your future self, you are your past self. So that's you meeting your past self because your future self meets your past self. Oh, I've confused myself. No, if you meet your future self, if you meet your past self, then you are meeting your future self.
I tell you what, I don't like spoilers, so I'll meet my past self.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll tell him not to do what I've done to lead me to this point.
Yeah, just correct a couple of little things, do a little tweak.
Yeah.
But then you are the future self meeting your past self. Okay, let's move on before we go into paradoxes. Okay, this one's a good one.
Either way, you're saying whichever one we pick on that one, we're picking the same one.
Exactly.
That's actually blew my mind. But carry on. Next one.
Okay. Would you rather Doctor Who crossover with Sherlock or Peaky Blinders?
I think Sherlock.
I'm torn here. I'm gonna say Doctor Who and Peaky Blinders would never work together. But I'd just like to see how the Doctor interacts with Tommy Shelby.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to see. But
I think a Doctor Who Peaky Blinders crossover is more of a comic relief.
Which Doctor would you more want to see with interact with Thomas Shelby?
Matt Smith.
Really?
I'm trying to think
Capaldi.
But it'd make the most sense, but I'm trying to think it's outrageous and crazy as it is that we're even talking about a Doctor Who and Sherlock and Peaky Blinders crossover.
Yeah.
But I think just from the idea of Matt Smith being like polar opposites to Tommy Shelby, I think I'd just like to see what the synergy is on screen and how they act around each other.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good question though. Which Sherlock would you like to see? The Doctor interact with? So would it be Robert Downey Jr.'s or would it be Benedict Cumberbatch's? And which Doctor would you like to meet the Sherlock?
I'd say Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock.
Yep.
And Matt Smith's Doctor Who.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. The Sherlock one is more sensical, and I could actually see it happening. It's a little bit more.
Because the showrunners for both of those shows, Sherlock and Doctor Who, were the same head writers at the time.
So it was possible.
Stephen Moffat. So,
but I mean, we'll get on to who should play the next Doctor later. But we even had the crazy idea of Michael Jackson playing Doctor Who. So anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything can happen.
Even if they did Peaky Blinders, let's say they just had an episode of Doctor Who set in that Peaky Blinders era.
Yeah.
And you just had a little Easter egg with Thomas Shelby or the Garrison.
Just the pub in the background. Yeah.
That'd be
something
nice.
Small. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question, that is. I like that one. Okay. Next one. Would you rather have the dress sense of the 10th Doctor or the 9th Doctor? So if we're talking 10th Doctor, we're talking suits and trench coat, or if we're talking 9th, we're talking leather jacket, jeans.
I think 9th Doctor, because I think if I walked round with our group in a bloody trench coat and a suit and with some Converse on, I'll just get ripped into. Yeah, there's only one person in our group who that suits.
Yeah, and it's definitely not us.
We won't say his name, but he knows who he is if he's listening.
Yeah. The next one. Would you rather have a sonic screwdriver or a laser screwdriver?
I think a sonic. It seems to be the solution for any problem you're in.
Yeah, definitely. I think the laser's just cooler, though. I just like the idea of a laser screwdriver.
Yeah, but what are you shooting?
Yeah, true.
That's what I mean. I think you'll have more practicality out of Sonic. Unless
Yeah,
you're completely
definitely.
insane and you have a laser screwdriver and you want to hurt people, then yeah, go ahead, have the laser one.
Yeah. I think, yeah, if you're trying to hurt someone, perfect. If
Yeah.
you're the master.
Yeah.
But otherwise. Next, we've got, would you rather be converted into a Cyberman or into an empty child?
An empty child, because it can be reversed. A Cyberman can't be.
Yeah, true. But,
And a Cyberman looks painful.
Yeah, but so do they both. You basically, like, with an empty child as well, you basically, like, grow a gas mask out your mouth.
Yeah, but a Cyberman, like, you see how they get turned with the bloody saw blade machine and everything.
True,
And,
true.
When they're like, their emotion circuit or whatever it is gets like disabled, they suddenly feel so much pain.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd rather be an empty child because it can be reversed, but when you're a Cyberman, it can't be.
On the basis of what you just said, it's like I said Cyberman because you're just like an empty shell after that. You don't feel anything.
But
But
you're
like
not.
you said, yeah,
You're
but like
only
you said,
an
if
empty
you,
shell because that emotion circuit's on.
yeah,
But when that's disabled, like,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've swayed to the empty child one now. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
definitely.
that's easier than we thought it was when we first wrote it down.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We'll do the next one. We'll fly through. This is the last one. Would you rather have a sonic blaster which removes walls, or own the psychic paper?
I think this one's a difficult one.
I think it's
And the
psychic
reason
paper all the way.
I'm saying that is because literally you can just get in anywhere if you can remove walls. Like they're both kind of
But so can the
same.
psychic paper.
Yeah, I was going to say they both cover the same thing.
But with a blaster, you can remove the wall and get into a room, but nobody knows you're in that room. But with a psychic paper, you can be allowed into a room and everyone knows you're in that room and you're fine.
True. Also with the sonic blaster though, it's an easy escape. If you ever get took to prison,
True,
blaster it.
but you could have some kind of document on your psychic paper saying that you're not allowed to go to prison.
I think I'd rather have a sonic blaster. I just like the idea of being able to just remove walls.
Yeah,
go in and just put the wall back.
but
Like
I suppose a gun is cooler than a piece of paper at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think they're both. Like I said, they both do the same thing, really, don't they? No, they want you to get in places, but yeah, I'd rather have a sonic blaster. But I can understand why you'd pick the psychic paper, and it's still got like a valid reason to have that.
I'd go with psychic paper.
Yeah.
Right. That's the end of Would You Rather.
Yeah, I think
finish that.
This has been quite a long episode as it is, but I think we just need to fly through.
Let's tell them what we're going to go on about. We're basically going to talk about who should play Doctor Who next.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think they should be British.
I think they always have been, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've always been.
They always have been and should. I think it's such a British show now. It's part of British culture. It has to be a British actor.
Definitely. I think they need a different personality to what the past Doctors have had. So we've had like an angry Doctor. We've had like a crazy Doctor. Do you know what I mean? We've had like a variety of different ones, and I think we just need someone that's different.
Yeah. Well, that comes with every regeneration of the Doctor. There'll always be a little soft reboot, like we mentioned earlier. So we've got a list of celebrity names, agree or disagree, but we feel like they could be good choices.
Okay. Yeah.
Richard Ayoade, aka Moss from the IT Crowd.
Yeah, he's the comedian, isn't he?
Yeah. He'd be good for the humour of the Doctor, and he's got the look as well. Like he can look like the Doctor, and the quirkiness and all that. But I can't see him doing the serious scenes we also get in Doctor Who.
Especially with him playing a character like Moss. This is kind of highlighting my problem with having Matt Lucas as one of the companions as well. Like, it's like I've seen them in a comedy role and now I can't take them seriously almost.
Yeah.
That's why I agree with you there. Like, it'd be great until it got to the serious bits where it's like the empowering, looking down the camera, kind of scenes. So yeah,
he might work better as a comic relief, better a character in the show then.
So like a companion or something.
Yeah. The next one we got is Michaela Cole. This never crossed my mind till I saw it on another website about like people who should play, and it makes so much sense to me now that I think about it. She's done the fun and comedy side of her acting career. She did that with Chewing Gum, and she's also gone on the dark side of her acting with I May Destroy You and other properties, and I see it as well. I can see her in like a fun, like Doctor Who-esque outfit being the Doctor, because she can play those scenes and that role.
So she's got the range to get
and she's
to do those serious
as well.
And,
everyone likes Michaela Cole, so I don't think anyone would really complain if they announced that she'd be the new Doctor.
No, definitely not. Next one. This one's a little bit of a wishy-washy one, but we've got Daniel Radcliffe. Now, I think, again, he's done more serious than he's done comedy, and I think he can do comedy. But and I think what we're trying to say is with the Doctor Who actors or actresses, they're not very A-class, whereas Daniel Radcliffe has been A-class. Ever since Harry Potter, he's kind of been. He's not really done like a big franchise or a big film, or even since something like The Woman in Black. Or since something along those lines. So
I've seen him in a few things, but they've been more like indie films.
Smaller productions and stuff like that.
But like, he fits that bill. He's British. He can play the serious parts, and he has been known to play the comedic and quirky parts. Like the villain in Now You See Me Too, which he plays. He plays that fun quirkiness of a character really well in that, and he can bring that into the Doctor. So
definitely.
I think he can work as Doctor Who if he ever did it or was ever offered.
Sure. I think so too.
The next one we got written down is Nicholas Hoult. For people who don't know, that's is it Tony from Skins?
I think so. I can't remember. I'm not very good at the names off the top of my head. But
he played Skins. Effie's brother.
British actor. The one thing I've got about this one, he doesn't. I know this is going to sound very vague, but he doesn't look like a Doctor Who.
No, I do kind of get what you're saying. I can't picture him in some kind of suit looking over the TARDIS console. Like, I can't picture him doing that. But he fits the bill as an actor and like what we'd find for someone playing it. But like I said, I don't think he's got the look quite right.
No, I agree. I think, like you said, everything else is there. It's just the look of the Doctor. Which doesn't look like a Doctor. But I'd say the same about our next one, which is Tom Felton.
Going back to Harry Potter actors. This is the one who played Draco Malfoy, if people are wondering. He doesn't look like Draco Malfoy anymore. He's grown up a bit.
I know, but I still feel as though. I mean, he could play it. Like, I reckon I'm being a little bit tunnel visioned here and thinking that a Doctor Who has to look in a particular way. But we might be surprised. We might be surprised by the fact he plays like quite a cool new. This could be the way that they introduce a new generation of Doctor Who with somebody like that's completely different to what we've had before, that we don't expect them to be good, at playing the role, but they are.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like that. That's how I think the new generation of Doctor Who should have gone. But yeah,
I think he could do it personally. It reminds me a bit of like a young Peter Capaldi. So
okay, yeah,
I think he could do it.
yeah.
But moving on, this was your shout, Rowan Atkinson.
This was my favourite option.
Yeah,
Now, I know I've said in the past, like, people that do comedy in particular, but this man has so much range. Like, even in things like he's played Mr. Bean, which is like he doesn't talk at all, and then he's played in Johnny English. And I know Johnny English isn't a serious film, but
no,
there is bits that are classed as serious, like some of the things he says. But I reckon he could be. He's like a British treasure, and so is Doctor Who. And if they want to revive the series, then they bring a British treasure and Doctor Who together. It'd work perfectly.
and you can argue that he's already done his audition tape.
With the comic relief, yeah.
But ages ago, in comic relief, I think it was like a 90s comic relief. They did like a spoof Doctor Who thing where he played the Doctor.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Rowan Atkinson has had quite serious roles as well.
Yeah.
And like he has got the range. He fits the bill of what we'd see in a Doctor, and he's older as well, which I think makes more sense for the Doctor to look older.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favourite suggestions, that was.
Yeah. There's another one as well, Andrew Lee Potts. If anyone doesn't know who that is, that's the guy who played Connor in Primeval. And if you still don't know who that is, I can't really give you another example.
I think if you don't know who that is, then you've not going to know who that is. It's like a show. He was the
charismatic tech geeky guy on that show, and I think that kind of fits the bill for him to play some kind of incarnation of the Doctor. But I wouldn't put him up there as my favourite to play the Doctor.
No, definitely not. No. The next one we've got is Tilda Swinton. For those who don't know who this one is, it's the ancient one in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
She plays the ancient one, sorry. I think this one's a really good suggestion.
Yeah.
I really do think, especially, this is based more so on the way she is in Doctor Strange. Like, she's quite witty, and I think bringing something like that and that experience into the Doctor Who role, I think it fits perfectly.
You can say her character in Doctor Strange, where she's playing the ancient one, actually has similarities to the Doctor. They're this old being. They have all this knowledge of the world, time, and dimensions, and all this science fiction stuff.
Yeah.
But they've also got this funny and charismatic attitude behind them. But when things do get serious, they can also switch as well. So Tilda Swinton, like, she's a very, very good fit. It's just whether Tilda Swinton would do that.
Yeah,
with
essentially,
Doctor Who.
It seems as though she did her audition for Doctor Who by playing the ancient one, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So, on the topic of Doctor Strange, we put down Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, it'd be great to see him play the role. He's played in a lot of BBC stuff already with Sherlock and such, and I think he's a bit too famous now. He's too A-list. He's still got Doctor Strange and that role there, and I think he might have a little bit too much on his plate to be looking at doing things like Doctor Who and everything as well.
I think if Benedict wasn't as big as he is now, and he didn't play Sherlock, he would be an amazing Doctor in Doctor Who.
Definitely, yeah.
But I think the timing now, it wouldn't be right for him to take that role.
No.
Which is a shame. But
it is a real shame.
We got as well Hugh Laurie. Don't know much about him acting wise, and I know he was in House, so I think he can. I think there's a bit of comedy and seriousness in that show.
This one we put more down for the look.
Yeah,
So obviously,
yeah.
a lot of these that we've identified as some that are like got the acting abilities there and the look, but then some that we've just put down for the sake of they look like a doctor, or they'd give us the vibe that they'd play a good doctor. So
But we
yeah,
only
I
said that
agree.
because he looks like Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does look a little bit like Peter Capaldi.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tom Felton looks like a young Peter Capaldi. Hugh Laurie looks like a middle-aged Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi just looks like Peter Capaldi.
are we just asking for a Peter Capaldi era reboot? Is that what we're
Yeah,
saying?
we'll just bring Peter Capaldi back. Actually, no, let's bring Lewis Capaldi and make him the Doctor.
I mean, Peter Capaldi already starred in Doctor Who before he was the Doctor anyway. He was in the Pompeii episode with Donna and the 10th Doctor. I mean, you could just be like, well, this is a new Doctor, and then just style him differently. So let's just bring Peter Capaldi back. That's who the next Doctor. That's who's the next Doctor.
Why not?
Sorted. You've ruined the canon and destroyed everything else. You might as well just be like, well, you can regenerate backwards now.
I think if they were to regenerate back into an old Doctor, I'd rather it be David Tennant than Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to see Peter Capaldi done again with a few better stories. But moving on to the next one, Michael Sheen, aka he's been in Good Omens with David Tennant, the Amazon show, and he's been in Twilight. I'm trying to think of like a standout role that he's been in that people will know him for. But I can't.
A lot of people will know him for the Twilight thing, I think.
Yeah, if you Google a picture of him, you'll know him straight away. But like, the way he looks now, he has like crazy curly hair. He has a big beard, and I'm like, you look like Doctor Who. You do.
Yeah, again, I think this is one that we put down for looks, especially again.
Yeah, and he can do the fun. He can do the seriousness as well. He's played alongside an ex-Doctor as well, David Tennant. Like, he fits the bill a lot. Michael Sheen does. It's just whether it be something he'd do, because I think he's quite big himself.
Yeah. So the next one, I think this is one that you put down. That you put down Hayley Atwell.
Yeah. Not my personal choice. I just saw it as a suggestion on another website of who could play the Doctor next. Yeah, she's cool. She could do it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really most suited to her compared to other people we've had on the list.
Yeah, I think some of them are a little bit wishy-washy, but
I
think it's a lot of it. I think again we're basing a lot of it on how they look, and I think that's something we missed out when we said like the core fundamentals. You have to be Doctor Who. So we've got a lot of British. That we've got a lot of people that can possibly do different personalities. But I think what we should have included in there as well is they've got to have the Doctor Who look.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one that we've got is Tom Hiddleston.
Too famous.
Yeah.
Scratch him off.
Would have been nice to have seen though. I think he'd have brought something different to the table.
He'd have been really good, but there's no chance. It would never happen.
No,
he's too big.
Happen.
See you later.
The closest we get into a Doctor Who type thing with Tom Hiddleston is the upcoming Loki series. So that's time related anyway. So if you kind of close your eyes, maybe squint a little bit, we might be able to imagine him as Doctor Who from that.
Yeah, exactly. We've got written down as well, Idris Elba, again, would be very cool to see, but I think he's too good looking to be the Doctor, to be honest.
I think he's more of a candidate for Bond than Doctor Who, to be fair.
Definitely. I see more as Bond than the Doctor. Yeah. And then to finish off our list, we've got Jack Whitehall.
I'm a bit torn on this one because I don't know whether he could handle the serious side.
I see it, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like he could bring a character and personality to the Doctor, which we haven't actually seen before, like that Jack Whitehall personality.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the seriousness, I don't think Jack Whitehall's got that in his bag to do.
No.
And like we said for a couple others, we just said they're probably too famous to do it now.
Yeah.
Jack Whitehall's getting big.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not just doing his comedy anymore, is he? He has gone into acting, and he has got a lot of things on his plate. So
he's going to be in a movie with The Rock. A Disney movie. Like, I think you've made as an actor if you're starring in a Disney movie and The Rock's the co-star.
Yeah, definitely. He's got to have done something right.
He's definitely going places. So I don't know. It'd be fun, but I don't think we'd ever see it. Maybe in a comic relief spoof.
Similar to Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
One that we haven't got on this list that I thought of as well is Eddie Redmayne. So this is the guy that played Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything, and he played the main character in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Again, it's because he plays a very similar role. Like, I'm not saying Harry Potter and that kind of universe is similar to Doctor Who, but he's obviously got like the magic aspect and the science fiction. And
just the outfit he wears in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the look. He's definitely got the look. And I think I think it's something that we haven't really seen in Doctor Who. He's quite an introvert, whereas we've had a lot of extroverted doctors. So maybe it'd be different. I'm not saying that we have a doctor that just doesn't speak to anybody at all, but he's a bit more like calculated and timid rather than being loud in your face. I think it would be a different vibe and a different. Yeah, exactly.
If you're saying we got like an introverted doctor, could we do like a whole season where he doesn't have a companion? And we're just following
or he barely has companions, or he has different companions, or I think that'd be interesting to look at. That's what I saw when I looked at him, because even like his character in Fantastic Beasts is quite introverted. He doesn't really speak much. He's not really loud and in your face. And the same with The Theory of Everything. Obviously, that's based on like true events and such, but still he plays that character and that introverted and that sort of quiet, shy, timid character really well. So I think that would be something that he'd be able to bring to the Doctor Who, the Whoniverse. That's something that we haven't seen before.
That's a good shout.
That's why I got him down.
I like that idea. If people have any other suggestions, don't know how many people are going to actually watch this or listen to this, drop them in the comments.
Let us know,
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what other people think would be a good take for the Doctor. But
there's definitely people we've missed off there, I think. But obviously, remember what we said. I think they have to be British. I don't think, especially, I'm not going to take any American actors as the Doctor. I think it has to be.
Unless they're very good at playing someone British.
Yeah, okay,
I might be able to pass it. Because, have you watched Sex Education on Netflix?
Yeah.
Otis's mom?
Yeah.
That actress is American.
But she is really good at British acting.
And she also plays Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, and she's an American actress.
All right. Okay, yeah. Okay, all right then. I think, to rephrase that, if you've got any suggestions whatsoever for somebody that you feel that play a good Doctor Who, then even if they're American or any other nationality, I think
it's tradition for it to be a British actor, but if you have a good person within reason who is American, then bang him in.
Yeah, I think that wraps up nicely for this episode. I think it's going to have been quite a long one, so if you have listened to the end, thank you very much.
This has been a really good one. I hope everyone's listened and enjoyed the show.
Definitely enjoyed. I think we've enjoyed making this one. This has been like a blast from the past, back to the childhood.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever else we're on, Google Podcast Breaker, all of them.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening.
So that was our Whoniverse episode of the Motion Lister podcast. I do hope you enjoyed it. Again, just apologising for any technical glitches that might have ruined your listening experience. I hope it wasn't too much of an issue for you. But if you're still here at the end, I just want to say thank you for listening and tune in for the next one.